Good afternoon. Thanks for coming back from lunch, I guess. I guess we haven't filled exactly the room. Look, I have a presentation for the next 30 minutes or so, but since we are cozy and it's a smaller group, I will turn it around. I will make it a bit freeform. I will share with you some key ideas, key messages, and maybe we can turn it into a discussion. Just make the best of what we have here. So I would be gladly interrupted at any point in time. It's just around 30 of us. So if you hear something that's of interest of you and you would like to go more deeper in it, let's please do that. Just interrupt me. It's fine. It's a cozy atmosphere, right? And if you need more details on something, let's discuss about it. The intention and the idea of this presentation is more to spark some thoughts. It's not so much about outcomes and you know, the one source of truth. The reality, how we look at it right now in terms of technology and in terms of where it's going, it's very fluid. This is one big idea that we keep seeing. It's very fluid. We need to be open. We need to work together, and we need to keep the discussion going. So please look at this presentation more as food for thought and invitation for discussion rather than anything else. And if we could do it here, it would be great. I'm very happy to be interrupted. Okay? So it's 15 slides, not a lot of numbers, but some very interesting ideas I hope you share. I have my notes here. I will be, looking at them, especially if I get a difficult question. But besides that, that's all about it. So let me start. Does it work? It works. So where I would like to pick it from, probably some of you, maybe all of you, have heard about this paradigm shift, this discussion that is happening right now about the fourth industrial revolution, right? And the connection and the work that is done to parallel that revolution with three previous ones. Steam engine revolution back in the 70s, 80s, electricity, electronics, and now digital. What is the common theme of those disruptions, and why do we call them disruptions? The common theme is that there was a pervasive technology that went to the core of how competitive advantage was created, of how value was created, and changed it forever, right? And we saw creation of new industries, completely new industries, different ways of doing the same things, much faster, much more productive, right? And a fundamental shift in the economy. We believe that after 2015, we are witnessing one of these revolutions right now. So we're in the midst of it as we speak. So the next question becomes, what is it fueled from, right? Why? Why now? What is happening? And we can see a couple of themes, and I'm pointing some out in the slides, and this is a government forum, a government discussion. I'm pointing 4 areas where we see a lot of, I would say, friction, but also opportunity in government. 4 areas. First of all, in terms of data, we see the, I would say, abundance, proliferation of data around us, right? By 2025, we calculate that there's going to be about 50 zettabytes of data available. That's 20 times more than almost 20 years ago. Right? Just the sheer amount of data. And then the question is, what do we do with it? How do we open it up? How do we share it? And how do we cost-effectively manage it? Then the second piece, and it's a big piece, it's about security. I don't even think I need to say more about this. We've witnessed the shift in the threat environment from amateurs or some crooks or thieves to state-sponsored attacks recently. Just the pure security of and access of that data is becoming more and more complicated. And then, of course, okay, there is the data. Okay, let's assume it's secure. The third question is, what do we do with it? Right? How does it become smart? How do we make decisions around it? How do we analyze? How do we infuse predictive analytics? How do we create the operational efficiency around that data? Fourth, and I have there separately, I'm calling out Internet of Things, just because of the sheer amount of data it creates by itself. The smart objects around us are increasing at exponential rates. Right? Year after year, more and more things are connected to the internet, and this means they produce data, but they also consume data and then create new types of services. All these things are not agnostic what a government needs to do and what a government does, both internally but also in terms of its citizens. But I have this quote from World Economic Forum: why do governments exist? If I was to put it on a sentence, I would say governments exist to serve, right? So the question is, how do we bring together that wave of technology, that wave of innovation, to create a government that's for the people, by the people, and so on, but also creates contextual and personal experiences to its citizens that can go after what they need before they even ask for it. Right? Leaders everywhere are looking for these breakthrough ways to fuel economic growth, to close the divides, and make services more accessible to people. What is the key enabler for us? What do we feel as Microsoft is a key enabler for this success? We feel that technology can play a role in this. Technology has been viewed for many years as a vertical, right? Vertical meaning one part of what the economy is about. We feel that increasingly, and through the digital revolution, digital disruption, what happens with technology, it's turned into a horizontal. It basically cuts across every single industry. It goes to the core of it and disrupts it fundamentally forever. That's a totally different way of looking at what technology can do for you. So, let me sum it up before I move a bit forward. 4 spaces where we see the challenges right now. 4 spaces where we see also the opportunities. 1 space in the services, the policy. I understand there's a very good track happening right now about policy. It's big and fundamental discussion there. There's 1 space about volume of data and complexity of data and cost. There's 1 space about unstructured data. This is very, very interesting. Besides the data that the government creates itself and the data that it opens to the public, there is a key question about combining that data with what's already available out there and creating new types of services. And finally, the 4th piece, security, privacy, and regulatory environment. Paramount importance and increasing over the recent years. Let me pivot a bit and go back to what we bring here. Sorry, I will need to pivot a bit on Microsoft, what Microsoft exists for, right? Microsoft is about empowerment. That is our mission. I have it spelled out right here. The reason I have it spelled out here is with empowerment, we also talk a bit about democratization. Our raison d'etre is about democratizing technology, which means, in simple terms, giving it access to as many people as possible, as broadly as possible. We start that with the PC, we move that in the server age, and as we move to the future, we feel that there's 1 core technology that is the forefront of all the things we've been talking about now: artificial intelligence. Our mission, and we feel that a core part of what government should be thinking, is about how do we leverage, how do we use artificial intelligence to amplify human ingenuity with intelligent technology. Making it accessible to everyone, transforming the industries, making us more productive, making us more of who we are. It's not about replacing us, it's not about changing us, it's about working side by side with government workers, providing side-by-side services to citizens to improve their lives. Before I go into a bit the technology part of it, I would like to spend a bit of time on the values and principles. We feel that there's a very big discussion and very important discussion that needs to happen on a policy layer with all the key players around artificial intelligence. First of all, we believe in what we call enabling and empowering people. It's not about replacement, it's about enablement. It's about working side with people, making people more. The second piece refers to inclusive design. I would put it differently. I would talk a bit about bias. How do we make sure that we have technology that doesn't carry our own biases? We all know that whenever we create something, whoever creates it, that thing, that piece of software, that idea, carries the creator's biases. How do we make sure that artificial intelligence infused products, ideas, services are not biased and are not carrying that with them? And then how do we build trust? But what does trust mean? How can we audit what artificial intelligence comes out with? How can we make sure that we understand the specifics of what is behind this? These are very big questions that we are trying to tackle. These are very big questions that need to be addressed both by governments but also by private sector in the immediate future. So for us, and the way we're looking at it, is this, I would say this, if I was to put it in one sentence, this is what it's about. Platforms, intelligent cloud and intelligent edge, and artificial intelligence. Let me break it down, because I think that is a kind of condensed sentence, right? First of all, we lead with platforms. We're a platform company. What platform means is that the way we go about is by partnerships. We're partnering with governments, we're partnering with institutions that have their own development capabilities to create the services that they ask for. We are a bit, if I was a bit more loose in the way I think about it, we're a bit like Legos. We provide the Legos, and then with the Legos you can build a house or you can build a car. That's what Microsoft is about, the platform play. The second piece is about the intelligent cloud and the intelligent edge. It talks about the application platform. What kind of applications are going to be created with that platform, right? We believe that compute will expand where data is. That means what we call data gravity. If the data is created at the edge, there's going to be an intelligent edge. That means the edge of where the user and the device interacts will be an intelligent device. At the same time, since the edge provides data to the center, and for massive amounts of data crunching, that center, that cloud, will also be intelligent. Third is what we built on top of that intelligent cloud and intelligent edge and infuse it with AI. For us, AI, artificial intelligence, is going to be the third runtime. The first runtime was the PC, second runtime was the web, the third runtime is going to be artificial intelligence. So you see, intelligent repeated again and again. I think I tried to put as many times as possible in one sentence the word intelligent. You see cloud, edge, artificial intelligence. This is how important it is for us. And it translates actually to the outcomes. These are real outcomes. It's updated as of March. And you can see the rapid evolvement and the acceleration, I would say, of the technological outcome over the recent years. From object recognition to speech recognition to comprehension to translation, we have all achieved human parity. And it's not just us, right? We are leading in some of these spaces. We have competition that is leading in other spaces. But the collective force of the industry is really driving a massive change. So in a lot of sense, what I'm trying to say here is, am I having a futuristic discussion? Am I talking about something that's out there in the future? Or am I talking about something that's right now, right here, available? This is what I would like to discuss over the next few slides. Okay, so this is a maturity slide, right? And for us, it's important to kind of think about where we are on that journey. And it's not a one-way trip. Depending on the organization, depending on the capabilities that are already available, depending on the infrastructure that's already available and the investments, we can be on different places on this. But also we can place ourselves on different places based on different processes. Some processes are much more prone to be infused and to be receptive to artificial intelligence. Some others, not so much. The basic question, though, is starting from the maturity, the state we want to be at, the aspirational state we look for, and then working our way back to what are the fundamental states we should be taking right now to be ready for what's coming in the future. A lot of the discussions we're having seem to be like, yes, we want to be somewhere right there, but we don't know where to start. Well, there are places to start right now, not just with Microsoft, with most of the technology vendors. There are places to start. There are ideas that can be implemented immediately. Let me just call out 3 for you right now. These are available right now, and they can be infused in any government operation. First of all, digital agents. What do we refer by that? Some of you know it as bots. We calculate that by 2025, 95% of customer interactions in the public sector, 95%, will be done by bots. The first layer will be done by bots, conversational bots. Building a bot right now is becoming a commodity. The question is more about language. The question is about context and intent. Most of these problems have been solved. So it's more about choosing which service could go first rather than asking if it's available. The service is available right now. Second layer is what we call intelligent apps. What do we mean by intelligent apps? We mean that we all know the traditional apps. We are talking about the next version of these apps where the app itself can think of some of the fundamental things that you're doing and propose solutions and actions even before you actually go engaging about it. And you can enable it or not enable it. The third piece is transforming business processes. There are many repetitive business processes, especially in public sector, cross-checking, auditing, seeking data, queries, that are currently handled by people. Frankly, these people could be redeployed to do more interesting work than repetitive work, and artificial intelligence can solve those problems for them. Mining huge amounts of data, looking for discrepancies in legislation, or auditing records is something that's already done. So 3 places where artificial intelligence is happening right now, and it's available right now. Not just with Microsoft, with most technology vendors. Let me pivot a bit and kind of present my most busy slide. This is actually if I was to do the presentation around one slide, I would just do this, right? Because then I'm double-clicking now, and I'm going, okay, what are the 4 specific areas where we see digital transformation in government as we speak? What are the 4 areas where we can be talking about specific scenarios in government right now? Meeting the government's mission while protecting the sensitive information of employees. 4 areas. How do we engage citizens? How do we empower the government workers? How do we optimize the operations? And then how we transform the services. These are the 4 key pillars around which we are building most of our conversations with governments around the world. Let me go one by one. What I will do is I will go one by one, and then I will try to summarize. Okay, first piece, engage your citizens' patients. Okay, with this I don't mean that every citizen is a patient, right? I'm using this also for healthcare organizations, this slide, so it has stayed there, but it doesn't mean that every citizen is a patient. We hope that no citizen is a patient, right? So what do we currently see in terms of using artificial intelligence to engage citizens? First of all, we've seen over the recent years what we call the rise of the citizen. And what do we mean by that is, with the power of social networks, with the power of technology, citizens have much stronger voice than they had in the past. We all see viral videos going out about stories. We lived through the Arab Spring some years ago. We lived through the power of technology over recent political events. We even saw the power of technology in recent elections, right? So we do see the rise of the citizen. Now, how can we empower further the citizen? How can we enable the citizen with new government, new types of government services? First of all, conversational agents. What do we mean by that? What do we mean by that is, imagine a digital assistant that can walk through a citizen through his service request or her service request. Not just information sitting static on a website, not just a Q&A on a website or some information leaflet, but an agent you can engage over the web and can walk you through your request. Then imagine being able to monitor that service request. There's a service request or a case that somebody is monitoring and following up with you, engaging proactively whenever there is a movement. This is the analytics piece. And then imagine intelligent applications that deliver personalized services. Not a service that is created for all, but for each one of us based on our specifics and based on our own information, on-demand digital services that follow us through, for example, our tax filing or transactions that we're planning to do on the future on the future years. These are scenarios that are very, very real and can actually be implemented as we speak. Artificial intelligence is part of products, is not a product itself. Right? This is the idea behind this. Let me move a bit to the enabling the employees. And this has been a very, very long conversation about the government and the public sector employees and the productivity. The nature of work has changed dramatically, especially in the private sector, allowing freedom of movement, freedom of information flow. It is harder. There are more silos to break in the public sector, but it's here with us. We can be supplying public sector employees with ready and faster access to data, breaking down the silos, and relevant data to help them do their work. We can create organizational knowledge. What we mean by that is imagine a personalized service that delivers training specific to an employee, chosen by and fueled by what artificial intelligence can already choose for that. We have organizations that are already doing that. And then, of course, providing digital assistants that create new learning experiences. Operations. Okay, the operation piece, I would say, looks both at predictions, but also at the insights. We have been talking about huge amounts of data that are available. I'm thinking, for example, patient data, even classified data. Patient data or records or tax data, mining that data and being able to come with insights that we wouldn't in the past, and auditing that data in a much deeper sense, combining sources from legislation besides the numerical piece, something that's available right now. We have been seeing cases, and the outcomes are very fast and very tangible. And let me close with the service. The service refers both to the piece of Internet of Things and making sure that the objects and the assets that we had in the past are now connected and monitored, but also the new types of scenarios that we can create, combining unstructured, public, open data, and what we already have in-house. So let me put it all together. A big discussion around what innovation can bring, a big discussion about what technology is coming and artificial intelligence, but at the end of it, there are three very fundamental principles. No technology can be used technology unless it's trusted, unless it's responsible, and unless it's inclusive. And I would like to really insist on the responsibility. We at Microsoft feel that we are responsible for what we produce. We are responsible for the outcomes and for how our products are used. We are going to infuse it. We infuse it right now in the design of those products, in the way they can be used, and in the way we deliver them in the market. Thank you very much, and I'm open for questions if there's something you would like to ask. We're only 25. I'm sure you can. There is something that's stroke of interest. Happy to discuss. Sure, please.
In Microsoft, what do you think about blockchain platform, something like that? Do you work on something in this area?
Yes.
Cryptocurrency or something?
Yes. Yes. Super. Yes, blockchain. The way we're looking at, first of all, I heard blockchain and I heard cryptocurrency, right? For us, there is the piece around blockchain as a technology, right? The underlying technology of crypto, and then there is the cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is an application of the blockchain technology in the currencies, which is fine. It can be used for many reasons. Let's park it there. The underlying idea of what blockchain technology can deliver is very important. We already have the capability to support technologically the stack of blockchain on our cloud. Happy to provide you with more information. But more important, the idea of smart contracts, we feel will have a fundamental change in how public sector both operates its financials, but also its contracting. I don't know what specific you are interested in, if there's a specific thing, but I'm happy to take up specifics on blockchain afterwards. Yeah. Distributed ledgers, yes.
So do Microsoft
Yeah. we are providing the tools. Yes. The idea for us is to be the platform. So we are providing the platform to develop blockchain on it. We have it right now. I can give you examples specific to public sector if you want right after this one. Right? But do we have our own cryptocurrency, for example? No, we are not going there. Told platform. We are the Legos, right? The house somebody else builds. Please. Sorry, I didn't see you. It's like the lights are in my eyes, so I don't really see. I pretend I see.
So what applications of artificial intelligence are Microsoft currently looking into in terms of community development? Like how AI can be used to help improve society and how we live our everyday lives?
Okay. So that's a broad question, but it's very interesting. So let me go back a bit to tell you what's available right now, and then we can. This is what's available right now. Like, this is where the discussion is right now. But, you know, yes, we do have digital agents and bots. We do have applications that include artificial intelligence, and there are discussions about how different business processes can be infused. But that's kind of, I would say, the early signs. The ideas behind what we can do is really up to the development community. So what we will do is what we are doing. We're coming out and we're saying, here's the cloud. Here is what it can do for you. 256 services, from speech recognition to deep learning to analytics to algorithms. This is what we can do. Here are your Legos. Please, go out and play, right? Build. The way we engage in any community, in any country, we go through local partners. Our key motion is how do we engage the developer, right? How do we engage the IT professional? How do we engage the business thinkers about this? So this is kind of the way. We will not restrict it. We will not say, oh, this is what it should be. We have our own views, right? And we will bring technology. We infuse technology in our products. But the bigger play for us is how can we be the platform upon which people can build and think?
Okay, so Microsoft provides like the building blocks for developers to then take it and then create their own applications. But does the company itself offer any incubator or accelerator like programs to help pretty much support this development?
Yes, we do have accelerator programs. Currently it's in the US and I think it's in Berlin, but I have to check it afterwards, not on top of my head. We do have accelerator programs and we do have products that are basically programs that are basically targeted either to youth, right? Either to special groups and also to startups. So all these three groups for us are of core interest of us. So if there is a startup program you're interested in and you can tell me the geography, I can point you to the right people. If there is a youth program, an education program, again, these are special areas where we have double focus, let's say, right? Because it's about the future. Right? So you're spot on that. Thanks for the question. Yes, please.
Yes, hi, Ivar Tallo,
Yes.
Estonia. I would like to take it back to the kind of last slide, which was about philosophy more. And you have the trust, responsibility, inclusivity, which are all nice. One thing that I feel missing before we come to other more practical things is freedom.
Freedom.
And it has a practical application also. I mean, having been early user of Microsoft products over MS, whatever it is, WordPerfect was the one I remember, yes, back in mid-90s or early 90s. I was always quite happy, and I was promoting or basically stating that we should just use what we are happy with, not with, by necessity, some kind of open office or whatever.
Correct.
But recently I have come to reconsider it somewhat. And namely, you are not giving people choice anymore. Choice of unplugging, for example. I don't want the computer to do things that I have not allowed it to do. But many services that Microsoft is now offering kind of don't run if you don't follow the orders of Microsoft. And I feel squeezed.
Okay.
So I would say that if you want to be successful,
Yes.
you should include the principle of
Yes.
freedom as well.
I think I should update you a bit. I think we need to update each other a bit. The core upon which our technology has been developed over the past at least 7 years is interoperability and openness. Right now on Microsoft Cloud, on our cloud, 60% of the workloads that run are open source. 60%, more than half of the workloads that we run on our cloud are open source. We are happy to run Oracle on our cloud, we're happy to run SAP on our cloud, we're happy to run on our cloud. At the same time, our products, for example, SQL, runs on open source servers. So completely different to a description of a closed environment. We understand that the future is a complex environment, it's a mixed environment. We are happy to be there. We are happy to manage Android devices. We're happy to be managed by that. We're happy to manage Apple devices. We're happy to allow the information to flow wherever the users go. By design, any new type of product does not restrict you to operating system, does not restrict you to any type of server. So I'm not sure where that's coming from. I'm probably guessing that what you're referring to is the type of service you're getting depending on how open or how closed is your system. Probably you're referring to that. That has to do with trust here. And why do I connect it with this? You can trust a technology that works and that's reliable. We can deliver trusted and reliable technology in a given setting, not in any setting. So if a user decides that, oh, I want to open it up and whoever wants to, we cannot do that. We want to have some kind of rule to be able to provide a trusted environment and a secure environment. So that's the trade-off. We want to be very sensitive, and around the world we have been providing different versions, even of the operating system, to cater the needs of the government or of secure organizations. I have witnessed some of those. So I'm happy to have that discussion. I feel you may be, I understand the past. I think you may be hitting us a bit too hard on the head for something that's not happening anymore. Okay.
Sorry, I understand the modular nature of what you are attempting to do and everybody else is. But what I'm hinting is much more simpler.
Yeah.
It is me as a consumer and sort of consumer of your products also. Not the big platforms, but just when I'm trying to use the products, and I mean that I understand the reasons why you are doing it. I'm just objecting to it.
Yeah.
Is that you are sucking, as everybody else now, us out of the data. All kind of sucking out the data from us. I mean, there is all this kind of return loops for the
I'm happy to walk you through your operating system and show you what's sucking.
You can't kind of opt out from these things.
Okay.
That is what I'm trying to say. Previously, I could use standalone whatever, and now it is kind of not possible.
I can show you versions that you can use as standalone. You will not enjoy the same amount of service, right? The same level of service, but then you have to compromise on something, right? The more you want us to provide you a secure environment, the more we have to know about that environment. I think it's fair. Sorry.
Hi, Kostas.
Hi.
I want to build on what my colleague said.
Please, build.
Without hitting you.
Hit me. I don't mind being hit. I'm used to it. Don't worry.
I can
That's what I do for a living.
I can relate to what you described because I also began using computers back in the day when you had to make a conscious choice about every action. I also used WordPerfect. I don't believe it was a Microsoft product, but
it wasn't. But I didn't hint on it.
But the difference is that in the early stages of technology, we had to make a very conscious decision about every step we wanted to take.
Yep.
We opted when to power on the machine. We had the access, if we learned, if we taught ourselves or had the opportunity to learn, to control what the machine turned on when it came up. We had to choose what software we used. We usually had to pay, but within every software was this concept that it was like a toolkit, like a physical toolkit. You took out your spanner, you took out your hammer, and you decided what to use. I agree with what you are saying, which is that for the average non-tech user of tech, a great deal more service comes to your door if you sit back and allow the machine to make decisions for you. the result is that we're going to be in this tension always between choice and convenience. I don't have as much choice anymore using Microsoft products within my little laptop environment. My little laptop environment now decides for me, and I have to go and hunt down how to tell it, no, I didn't give you permission to take all of my photographs and share them between my phone and my laptop. I can no longer choose as much that I have an ID connected with my work and an ID connected with my personal life.
Yeah.
These things are very much flowing together, and it takes a lot more effort now to go and make this separation. So to bring this back to what you are presenting,
Yeah.
this has to do with AI.
Yes. It does.
Artificial intelligence
Correct.
means we put algorithms around the patterns that we have acted out as humans or observed as the developers and designers and said, oh, I can make that easier for you. I'll make the decision before you knew that you were going to make that decision. Great convenience for my father, who is a senior citizen and has now been able to save himself a trip driving into town to deal with his bank. I've been able to teach him how to do things because the machine makes decisions for him, like how he's going to log in. But there is this tension, and I'm curious to know,
Yes.
what is Mr. Nadella's point of
Yes.
view on preserving that, my autonomy?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the question. So, couple of points. First of all, I would really love to spend some time with you to show you how to work your system so that you don't have those things, right? The perception that there is no choice, especially with Microsoft products, is not the correct perception. I'm sorry to debunk that. And I'm very happy to debunk it with you. I've done it numerous times, and people usually finish by, oh, I didn't see that. Oh, I didn't know that. Let me tell you why. Our commitment, and I can very much and clearly say that, is to adhere to the General Data Protection Regulation that EU has issued, right? So we are GDPR compliant across our products, and we will be. Not just for EU, but we will actually extend that for the world. So by doing that, and by adhering to that regulation, a lot of these actually questions are already answered to the right level. Now, do we feel that the user identity and being able to carry that identity across devices is important? Yes, we do. We do. We feel that giving the power to the user to carry his or her identity across products is such a big leap in terms of productivity, right, and in terms of intent of what they need to do, that we will need to make some compromises. Now, will we make that compromises for others? No, we are not doing that. We allow choice, right? Number one. Number two, the business model. Microsoft business model is not based on accumulation of data and selling the data for advertising purposes. That is not Microsoft. That is other companies that start with F and G, right? So this is what they do for a living, and it's very much accepted, and I'm fine with it, but it's not our business model, right? There is the business model where you accumulate data, you sell it for advertising purposes, you build your products, you give them for free, you accumulate data, and the circle goes on. And then there's our business model, which is we invest, we create products, we sell them, and then we invest back from the proceeds and so on, right? That's a different business model. So in terms of collection of data and usage of data, sorry, you're looking at the wrong guy. We are not into that. We will actually, we take long steps into actually not looking at the data, disposing of it, and making sure we are compliant with regulations. So happy to have that discussion, happy to give you access to the places where you can customize your personal device. I can tell you for the enterprise environment, for the government environment, this is fully customizable in detail, and I'm sure you know that already. Yes, sir. I guess 1 minute, so you're the last.
Okay, thank you.
But not least.
My apology, I missed part of your presentation.
Yes.
But it looks very interesting. I'm Muthu from Australia. On the public sector digitization, digital transformation, one of the problems is interoperability. Are you having any plans to make, say, in that line, in my opinion, X-Road is one of the good things. It makes it interoperable. The next thing is the DLT, but DLT is not interoperable yet. I wonder
What is not interoperable?
The blockchain, distributed ledger technology. Whether you have any plans to build X-Road or DLT interoperability onto your OS.
I need to check that. I cannot answer that on top of my head. I can tell you that the direction is definitely to be interoperable. Now, there are technical specifications on different solutions and different platforms. Do you have it, Christo?
I'm a colleague of Costas. I'm responsible for the Baltics market, Estonia in that case. And the partner who actually created X-Road for the Estonian government is a company called Cybernetica. You may be familiar with them. And the whole X-Road solution is currently fully available on the Microsoft Cloud platform called Azure. So you can use it as software as a service. It was launched a couple of months ago. And Cybernetica, which is an Estonian company, quite an old IT and software development house here in Tallinn, is providing that as software as a service on the Microsoft platform. So you can go to azure.com and you can find both Cybernetica and X-Road as a software as a service. I cannot answer that.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time and for your attention and for your questions. Have a good rest of the day.